Hello, Facebook friends and family. Today is day 21 of 21. It's the final day. I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad because it's the final day. And that means that this 21 days of coming to you guys live every single day with different little pieces of some of these emotional things that we ride on this roller coaster called adultinghood. Hi, Daisy, May. Hi, Tammy. So good to see you guys. I'm so glad you're here for the final day. Hi, sweets to you too, Tammy. So all of these little emotional tidbits that we've been talking about and some of the little solutions that, we've kind of shared, it's kind of coming to an end. Again, sad. Third, fourth, sad face. Tracy, hello, welcome. Thank you for joining in. And so today I wanted to kind of tie everything together because this adulting roller coaster that we're on, this emotional roller coaster that we're on, this health and emotional health and resiliency movement that we all need to be on because the world is kind of a scary place today, right? It's really important that we understand the pieces that block us, stop us, trap us, kind of feel like they imprison us. Dawn, hey, girl. Thanks for joining in on the last day. Awesome. It's important that we understand those pieces in order to find the topic for today, which is happiness and authenticity. Now, these words are floated around a tremendous amount. And in this world, probably in the last, I don't know, I'm guessing here, maybe 10 years or less, a lot of people have been talking about and promoting happiness and living an authentic life. And it's like, what does that all really, really mean, right? How do we find happiness? How do we become happy? How do we feel happiness? How do we live from this authentic place? What does that even mean? And so I'm going to actually consult some notes today just because it is the final day and I don't want to miss anything. And, a couple of announcements at the end, and I don't want to forget. I'm kind of tired. I haven't been feeling the greatest the last couple of days, little residual issues from when I was sick. And so sometimes they get me. And again, I really appreciate all of your patience and your kindnesses and understandings over the last week and a half of having to reschedule and change and cancel and all that good stuff. It's always appreciated. But anyway, I didn't mention with fear and negative thoughts the other day that, and this is so tied into today, that when we have a negative thought, it's really a warning signal from the body. Do you know how when you're sick or you get injured, there's pain, right? Or when you're sick, there might be pain in your tummy, or you feel nauseous, or if something's wrong with your shoulder, you might have an ache or some pain, more intense than just an ache. Those are warning signals from your physical body that are telling you there's a problem. And they're basically saying, knock, knock, I'm here, and you need to pay attention. And if we don't pay attention, to get worse until you pay attention. Pauline, hello, love. Yes, last day. Congrats. Finally made it to the last day, right? Thank you for joining in. So I always kind of use the example of I'm going to play the stereotype game here and use the example of a 250-pound big burly guy. And he's got an appendicitis. And he has got a fever and he's got pain. But he's like, I'm fine. I just ate something a little bad. Or I'm tired. Or whatever. And he keeps going on, and this appendix is just going to continue to get worse and worse. And it's going, knock, knock, hello, pain, problem, you're not paying attention. And he doesn't pay attention. And eventually he kind of falls to the ground. And then he's kind of like, well, yeah, I suppose I should do something about it. Because maybe it's not just something I ate or a little intestinal upset. And they take him to the hospital and he gets his appendix out and all is well in the world. Well, that's the physical body. The emotional body, guess what? It has a warning signal system in place too. It's got kind of an operating system. And the emotional body, we know that there's a problem. Those are little warning signals when we have a lot of negative thoughts, or when we're stuck and trapped kind of in this darker negative place. When we're feeling these emotions over and over, we say things like we're depressed or we're sad or we're angry or we're frustrated. All of those emotional labels, all those emotional things that you feel are little warning signals that say, knock, knock, there's a problem. But most of the time we don't pay attention to them. And again, the reason we don't pay attention to them is because no one's ever really taught us how to pay attention to them. So in order to find happiness and authenticity, which we'll get into in more detail here in a second, we have to pay attention to the things that are negatively happening or that we're negatively feeling, the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings, the physical stuff that we feel too, in order to kind of understand what's blocking us from that happiness. Okay, so hello, Kim. Thank you, Sylvia, Sylvie, both Sylvia and Sylvie, Mike. Nice to see you guys. Thank you for joining in. So happiness, first of all, is not something that you achieve. It is not a place to get to. A lot of people think that if I have this, then I will feel this. So if I have enough money, Sylvie, Robert, oh, darling, I haven't seen you in so long. So exciting. If I have this money, then I will be able to do more and therefore I'll be happy. If I have this job, then I will have this freedom. If I eat this food, then I will feel phenomenal. If I need to gain weight or lose weight and I gain weight or lose weight, then I'll be happy. If I have a boyfriend, if I have a girlfriend, if I have a child, I mean, the list is really endless about, I'm so cute. Thank you, Pauline. I know it's been too long, Sylvie, right? And so it's just the last day. I just want to have a party and just play with everybody today for the last day. But I have to share some stuff. So if I have this stuff, then I'll be happy. And so we tend to think of happiness as this destination place, right? Like if we do all this stuff, then somehow this happiness will finally be there and I'll be able to land on the island of happiness and go, la la, give me my Mai Tais, I'm here. I am on the land of happiness and I shall forevermore be happy. And that's not the way it works. Because happiness isn't a place to get to. It's not a level to achieve. It's not a destination. Happiness is a state of beingness. Think about that. Happiness is a state of beingness. And it's said that the doingness, and I'll explain this more in detail in a second, that the doingness stems and comes from the beingness, right? And so let's imagine that I am feeling and being very happy. I'm in a very happy place. It's going to be very difficult for me to go engage in actions, the doingness, that are negative when I am being in that happy place. Well, let's flip it on the other side. If I am being in a miserable place, you've ever heard the phrase misery loves company? If I am in a state, so yes, thank you, Sylvie. Shelly, hello, welcome. Nice to see you. Thank you for dropping in. So if I am in a state of misery, I'm feeling this misery inside of me, this anger, this misery, this frustration, confusion, depression, things like that, then I'm going to engage in actions that are being born and stem from that place of feeling. That's what doingness stemming from beingness means. So I can't go do happy things in order to feel and be happy. It can provide a temporary feeling of happiness for me, but if some of the thoughts that are here are still blocking me from ultimately kind of stepping into that place of more gratitude and happiness and joy in my life, then it's just going to be very temporary that I'll feel that. It won't be a more permanent state of beingness. People often ask me and say to me things like, God, are you really all that happy all the time? No, look, I get mad. I was crying this morning. Okay? I get mad. I get hurt. I get sad. I can be sensitive. I can get frustrated. I can be judgmental. I could be all those things. But at the core, I am a genuinely grateful, happy, optimistic person. And so that overrides most of the negative stuff that goes on in my own head and sometimes in my own heart in a way that allows me to stay in that place of beingness, of happiness. And then my actions kind of stem from there. I hope that makes sense. Give me a heart, give me a couple of hearts or a thumbs up if, a little comment if that makes sense. So it's a state of beingness. But how do I get to that state of beingness when I don't feel that? When I'm not feeling very joyful or grateful or happy or content because a whole lot of crap is happening out here in my life. I'm going to lose my job. I don't have a relationship that I want, or it's not the best relationship and we're fighting all the time, or my car broke down, or I'm going to have to move to a new place, or God forbid my house gets hit by a natural disaster. My God, first of all, let me pause for a second, honestly. And I don't want to turn this into I just want to take a moment. I want to ask you all to please take a moment, a pure, real, honest, prayerful moment to send some healing love and energy to all of those affected by Hurricane Dorian, especially the Bahamas. May all who have been affected by the Bahamas, by Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas, in Florida, and upwards the East Coast, wherever it is right now, I believe around South Carolina, may those of you be safe. May those of you affected find the strength and be given the resources to rebuild and to stay moving forward in your life among the devastation that is in the Bahamas right now. And for those that have not made it through the hurricane and lost their lives, I send up to you pure angelic energy, love, that those who will miss you in physical form will always remember the strength of what you came through. For the best and highest of all involved, and so it is. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Especially because a dear friend of mine who is on right now lives down in Florida. And Dawn, I'm calling you out. I just had to ask, are you okay? Were you safe? Just kind of let me know, okay? So thank you guys for that moment. I think that was really important. More energy we put into this together, the more we can affect the world. And this is the point, is that you're okay. Okay, good. Thank God, Dawn. Good. So the point is that happiness, when we're dealing with all these terrible things that happen in the world and in our communities and in our neighborhoods and even in our homes, it's like, how do you kind of step into that state, that beingness of happiness, of joyfulness, of contentment, of gratitude, when all this stuff out here is happening either directly to you and in your life or to those that you love or out in the world, and it feels depressing and heavy and overwhelming? Well, part of it is that you have to learn to be authentic. And it's like, well, okay, wait, now we're switching gears to authenticity. Well, they kind of go hand in hand, right? Authenticity is about being able to step into yourself when you understand who you are and what's important to you, and be able to have that voice and have that sense of power, of mastery over being able to kind of be who you are at your core, what is heart-centered and heart-aligned for you. And so if you're living from that place without the expectations of everybody else, or even the expectations that others have placed upon you, whether it was from childhood and growing up years, or whether it was through teachers or co-workers or bosses or whomever it may be that was in your life that affected you and impacted you, if we learn to separate ourselves from those expectations that others have about us and even the expectations we have about ourselves, we can much more easily find our authentic self and our authentic voice. Tammy, that's awesome. Thank God it passed you by too. Oh, Dawn said that. Okay, I thought that was Tammy at first. My eyes aren't seeing very well. Okay, awesome. So the importance of authenticity then is being able to understand that it's a choice. Okay, that's a big, bold statement. How do I choose happiness again when I'm feeling all this other stuff? Well, how do I choose authenticity when I feel like I have to live by these expectations because I'm this certain age, or I'm this gender, or I'm a wife or a father or a mother or brother or sister or daughter or friend? Like, there are expectations in our lives. I mean, come on, let's face it. I've talked a lot over these last 21 days about expectations and how, we want to move away from them, like not buy into them. But the reality is there are expectations that people have. You go to a job, your boss is going to pay you for the role that you're playing in this capacity to do XYZ things and do it in a certain way. And that is the role, right? And so there's those expectations, and they have the expectations that you'll show up every day and you'll show up on time and you won't take off too much time and things like that. And in agreement for that, they say, we shall pay you X amount of dollars per day, per week, per hour, per month, per year. So how do we manage that when we do have these kinds of expectations around us, especially when they're not really in alignment with who we are or what we feel? Well, the bottom line to all this is you have to kind of know who you are. All right. How do I do that, Sue? How do I find out who I am? Well, I could tell you there's one question that I asked pretty much all my clients through the years at one time or another. And it was probably one of the toughest questions that they were ever asked. At least I would hear that all the time. Like, wow, I don't even know how to answer that. And I would ask them to write down, who am I? Now, we've all heard that before, and it may seem pretty simple to do. But I ask them to do it without the roles that they play. All right, what does that mean? Well, without the roles of wife, mother, father, brother, sister, daughter, coworker, friend, employee, business owner, entrepreneur, singer, dancer, you get the idea, right? So as an example, to give them a framework of what I meant by that, they would often ask me, well, like, who are you? What do you mean by that? And as I would explain it to them, I would tell them things like, okay, who I am as this heart-centered, aligned to the best of my ability person called Susan in this physical female body, I am integrity. I am compassion. I am love. I am inspiration. I am music. I am dance. I am poetry. I am laughter. Like, these are the things that I cannot not be. Now, I know that's a double negative and it can sound confusing, like, wait, what? Those are the things that light me up, that are like fire in my soul. They're the juice that keeps me going. These are the things I cannot not be. I am this all the time. Now, I may not act in integrity 100% of the time, or act in authenticity or act in laughter, if you get my drift. I may not act in music all the time or, compassion. I may have a judgment about something. Well, I'm not being very compassionate then, am I? But at the core of me, those are things that I always am. They're my musts. They're the things that keep me juiced and make me feel alive. And so I would ask my clients and friends and family that I would ask this of, and people would ask this of me, what lights you up? What makes you feel alive? What juices you? What are those pieces of you that you cannot not be? I know all of you on here right now, as far as those that are watching live and have commented, and I can tell you unequivocally that each one of you is compassionate. Each one of you is loving. Each one of you is caring and kind. So that's 4 things right there for all of you. You are compassionate, you are kind, you are caring, you are loving. So those are parts of who you are. And so like what I mean by like things like music and song and dance and stuff like that is, I think I might have said this the other day in one of the other lives. Let's say I'm walking in the grocery store and I'm pushing my cart and I've got groceries in my cart and there's an overhead speaker playing and they're playing some music. Because I'm music and I love song and I love dance, I love movement, and that's just part of who I am, I will be pushing my cart and notice, not even thinking about doing it, I just notice that my body starts to move a little bit. And I might even start singing. Not loud, I'm not trying to be Celine Dion here, but I might just start singing a little bit. Enough to not, bother anybody or disturb anybody around me, because I want to be honoring of their space, but I'm not going to change who I am just for somebody else, because they might think that I'm weird, or they might think that I'm, something's wrong with me, or they might look at me funny. I could care less. This is who I am. I need to move. I need to be involved in music, right? So as I'm pushing my cart and I'm just like, la, 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 whatever, I'm really not going to care what other people think. Now let's take that to a flip side. Let's say I'm at a funeral and there's music playing in the funeral parlor. Well, even if I have the desire to start dancing and moving and singing, my deeper part of me, that compassion part of me, well, that's not deeper than music, let's say, but I'm just saying that other part of me that's also deep, that's who I am, that compassion, will kick in and say, probably not the most appropriate thing to do right here, right now, just because of where I'm at and the situation. That I want to be honoring and compassionate to the people that are there and the family of the deceased and the deceased themselves. So I probably won't be sitting there starting to dance and sing, okay? So that's still living authentically me. I'm not like becoming a chameleon and doing it here, but then not doing it there. I'm taking into account the people and the situations around me. And this goes back to, I can't even remember what day it was when we talked about the emotional intelligence and emotional smarts. That is emotionally smart. That's emotionally intelligent, because I am honoring who I am, but I'm taking into account the situation and the people that I'm around, and I'm adapting without compromising those parts of me. Does that make sense? And so the biggest question you can ask is, who am I without the roles that I play? And I would challenge all of you to answer that question at some point. It's not an easy question to answer, simply because you have to kind of dig beyond the roles that you play to really get to those core, let's call them values to some degree, those core pieces of you that say, these are the things that light me up. All right. And then you can ask, why do I not feel happy? And where am I not feeling authentic in my life? Those are 2 questions kind of tied into one. Why am I not happy? And where am I not feeling very authentic in my life? All right. So you could start with that if you want to, ask those first, then ask, who am I, to kind of get to, a little bit of the root. And then you have to look at where the discrepancy is coming into play. Where's the disconnect, right? So let's say, oh, okay, this is a good example. All of you pretty much know that I'm in the middle of rebranding. And so let's say somebody came up with a suggestion for my rebranding that felt totally out of alignment with me, right? Like they want me to go in this little box and focus on this because that would be, a successful and potentially. It didn't really feel like it was honoring my heart. Like I wasn't, maybe as compassionate in that work that I feel in this other, my work, or maybe I'm not as honoring of people, or I'm not talking like drastic differences, like it's slimy and it's like, scammy. I'm talking about, let's just say it's off enough that it just doesn't feel right. Well, if I compromise who I am and that authentic part of me to go do this thing over here, then I'm getting caught up in the ego for one, and I'm getting caught up in the game, right? And the expectations of that person or other people. Oh yeah, a lot of people would, want to hire you if you focused on that. But let's say I hate that. I don't like teaching that or dealing with that. Why would I do that? If it's just about money, or if it's just about, fame or fortune or whatever, then I'm not really following my heart center. So you have to kind of look at where that discrepancy is coming in to really understand, kind of what's happening. And if you should find that the discrepancy is that you're confused and you don't really know which way to go, or you're feeling like giving up, or, any one of the 21, specifically any one of the 21 days we've talked about on those topics, then go back to that day and listen. I will print out, I won't print out, but I'll post a listing of each day. That day one was this, day two was that, day three was this, and so on. So that if you guys need to go back to a specific day, then you can re-listen to that and listen for the questions that were there, so that it can help you to kind of understand where that discrepancy is coming into play. Because you're not going to find a state of happiness for yourself, step into a place of being happy, if you're not living more authentically you. And you can't really live authentically you, which means following your own path and not living by the expectations of others, that authenticity that's true to your heart. You're not going to be able to do that if you don't really know who you are, right? So you first have to be able to identify the areas in your life where you feel you're not being or living authentically, and where you feel you're not being or living happily, and then answer that question of who am I from the core, and take a look at what is the discrepancy, right? So imagine yourself again on this island, and happiness and authenticity island is way over here. What do you think it's going to take to get you there? And if you're not sure, because I don't know, I don't even know if it's worth it, why bother? Check out giving up. If it's confusion and clarity, I don't have the clarity, I'm confused by that, check out that day, answer those questions. If it's frustration, confusion, overwhelm, my God, there's so many things. I only touched on a small portion in 21 days, and I didn't even go that deep. I mean, today's a bit longer of a session because we're tying it all up, right? 21 days. There's over 10 hours of content here over these 21 days. That's a lot of time, right? And there's a lot of tidbits and golden nuggets in each one of these days that you can kind of pull out. So these 21 days combined can really kind of be a foundation for you all to start really understanding how to ride that emotional roller coaster called adultinghood with you at the control. You're the one that gets to decide how fast or slow you go, how high or low you go, how many turns and twists there are. Because the whole idea of just be positive, be happy doesn't work. And the whole idea of just plastering Post-it notes all around your house doesn't work. Because if your mind back here doesn't believe it, it doesn't matter how many times you say it, you're not really going to change the belief. And if you just like, oh, be happy. Well, I could be happy for a while until all the stuff in my head creeps in and makes me go, or makes me go, or makes me cry tears. So sometimes you can fake it till you make it as a way to practice a little bit, but you can practice all you want and you can move through life kind of faking it till you make it by acting happy and acting authentic and acting like you have clarity. But if the programs that are running back here are continuing to run and you never change them, it's just not going to work in the long run. Something will happen eventually that will kick that program into high gear, and all the faking it till you made it kind of thing will go right out the window. All right, so it's a lot of time. Yeah, I know, right, Vicky? Hi. Just checking in. I know you're probably at work. When will I do another 21 days? I don't know that I will in this way, Dawn. But I do plan, I was hoping to start tomorrow. I don't know. My schedule's really kind of crazy, and I'm heading out on travel a week from Saturday for nearly a month. And then I'm only back for 10 days, and then I'm gone again for like a week, and then I'm only back for a couple days, and then I'm gone again for a few more days. Like, I have an enormous amount of travel coming up between mid-September and the beginning of November, beginning mid-November. So there's so much that I want to commit to saying I will come live every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes, even if it's just to kind of be a little bit of a cheerleader, rah, rah, like you guys know me. Do you think I'm a cheerleader? I am. I'm inspirational, I'm motivational, that kind of thing. But am I a cheerleader like, hi, be happy today? Yeah, no, that's not me. So I might come live every day in order to, just stay in touch, right? Like, ask a question or give you a little tidbit of something or tell you something about my life and my day. If I've had a bad day or a rough day, I don't have a lot of bad days, but I definitely get affected by stuff. So like if I'd gone live this morning, you would have seen a very different Sue this morning, right? A more emotional Sue, because look, we're all human. So what I'd like to offer up is that I really encourage you to get the 21 days of MP3s. Because I'm telling you, it's going to be a little course all by itself, and it's free. And I have transcribed all of these lives. I have to transcribe the last several, and I'm going to re-record them with just the content and the solutions. And the reason I'm doing that is because although I love you all very much, I'm not so sure that anybody else that might want to listen to this a year from now is going to know who Vicky or Stacy or Daisy May is. And all the constant things that we do during lives, like, hi, thank you for dropping in, aren't always ideal. And I want to give people the content straight away, right? So there'll be the 21 days of just content with the solutions, the little tips and strategies. Then there'll be 2 meditation CDs that I recorded that are blow away, and there will be a whole PDF workbook from the lives that show all of the solutions and the exercises that you can do, right? And it's all free. And all you got to do is let me know your email address and I'll put you on that list. And as soon as it's done, which won't be for a little bit, as soon as it's done, I will get it to you. So if you guys want that as a way to kind of have this little, I guess it's like a little course, a little guideline, little kind of pocket ebook-y kind of thing, I guess, or something. If you want that for yourself so you can consult day 2, day 5, day 7, day 10, day 14, because that particular issue is really affecting you, then just pop me your email. And make sure that you share this out to other people that you think might benefit, because I'm dead serious when I'm saying I am working to begin a real movement toward emotional health and resiliency, because as scary as this world is right now, in so many ways, there is no way that we can really create the impact that we want to create if we all aren't on that emotional roller coaster in such a way that we're in control and being the master of the ride. Life is beautiful. It is amazing, even in the shit, even in the crap. Look, mushrooms don't grow in sunlight. They grow in crap. Lotus flowers have to grow in the muck in order to bloom beautifully. And you know what? I don't want to sound cliche, but we are who we are because of all we've been through. And we don't change when we're comfortable. I talked about that in another live. We only change when we're uncomfortable, just like shifting in my chair. And so sometimes, unfortunately, we have to go through a lot of muck, some people more than others, in order to recognize the beautiful infinite possibilities within you. Please understand, I didn't create this new brand, Infinite Possibilities, Rise from the Ashes of Your Past, for no reason. It wasn't just some fancy name that sounded kind of cool that I wanted to do. This lights me up to help someone move through some of that stuff and junk that has held them back and stopped them. This isn't about, oh, well, you'll be famous and you'll make a gazillion dollars. If you're the clerk in the gas station, then be the best damn clerk in the gas station by putting a smile on your face and helping the people that walk through your door. If you're a singer, then sing your heart out, even if you sing like a dead cat, right? I don't sing the greatest. I think I have a decent enough voice, but you know what? I love it. So I'll keep going to karaoke when I can, and I'll have a blast. And I don't care who thinks what of my voice, because it's fun and it lights me up. And that's my deepest wish for all of you. So I do have beta testing opportunities for happiness and authenticity. I have 2 separate courses, one on happiness, one on authenticity. I have multiple other courses. I have 12 whole courses. I've only shared maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 with you. I don't know. I'd have to count them. I don't even remember. And the majority who raise their hand and say, hey, I'd kind of like to be a beta tester for that course or that course, I'm only going to offer 2 because I only have time for 2. So if you're interested in potentially looking at one of the courses, when I create the list and post it on Facebook regarding each day and what the topic was, I'll put next to it if it's a beta test opportunity. And what that means is you're helping me. The courses are created, but you're helping me to refine and tweak them. Okay? And I'm only going to take a small group of people for each course, because I need to refine it and tweak it with a small group of people to really kind of help just make it be the best that it can be right now. They're standalone 4 to 5 module courses right now as they are, and they're done, and they're really good just as they are. But I don't know, me being who I am, I want to invite people that have risen their hand and said, wow, that's really an issue for me, and I really struggle with that. I want those people to be part of the creation of it. And that's really why I'm kind of doing this as a new kind of class and offering this kind of beta test, okay, to really help refine it and create it from their perspectives, not just the way I've written it, okay? I mean, I got a lot of content and material. I could do a gazillion courses, but that's not the point. I want it to help people. I'm on a movement for emotional health and resiliency. Okay. So if you're interested in that, please make sure that you raise your hand and let me know. And just let's stay in touch. Okay. If you guys need anything, reach out. Don't feel shy. I may not be able to be your therapist or your coach in some form or fashion for whatever reason. But look, I'm a giver and I believe in what I'm doing, and I live and breathe emotional freedom and emotional mastery, because we can't step into our power and our potential and our purpose and our possibility. We can't live in that place of authenticity and happiness if we're not living from that deepest core. And that has always been my deepest desire, pretty much my whole life, is to help others see what we all can see with each other, but we can't always see in ourselves. And so if you need anything, if I can help, reach out, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to help you, because I love you all. You're all amazing people. I have been so excited to be here for the last technically over 21 days because, again, a few cancellations and reschedules and things like that. If you want to keep following me on Facebook, you clearly know my personal Facebook page, but please go head over to Infinite Possibilities, number 4, the letter U, Infinite Possibilities for you, and hit like if you haven't already, and follow, because I'm really going to take this as far as it'll go. I want to create a movement. We're just not going to change the world and change our own lives if we don't start stepping in to those possibilities that are within each and every one of us. So I believe in you. I believe in all of your possibilities. You're amazing souls. And I've been super graced and blessed with, pretty much on my personal Facebook page, pretty much knowing just about every single person on my page, short of maybe 200 people. I have literally met everybody else in some way or form or fashion. And I can tell you, I don't align myself with cruddy people. And I don't mean cruddy as judgment. I mean people who are not kind and compassionate and loving. So I wish nothing but the best for you. Reach out to me if you need anything. I'll go back through the comments and make sure I get your email addresses. And again, if you know anybody that you think might benefit, please feel free to share. It's not about views. It's not about any of that. I really just want people to know that they have tools at their fingertips. So I love you all. I thank you so much. You're amazing. This has been a blast. And I promise you, I will come live every day. I don't know if I'll start tomorrow. I'm still working out some scheduling stuff, but I will come live every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes and to say hi, because I just want to stay in touch. And I hope you do the same. So have a beautiful, happy, authentic, joyous, emotionally masterful day and the rest of your week and weekend. I love you all. Thank you so much. And I'll see you soon. Ciao for now.